22 years ago, politicians and the mainstream media propagated huge lies to the American people. They told us Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. They fear-mongered of Iraq having decades-long ties with terrorists like Al-Qaeda. They duped many into thinking Saddam Hussein himself played a role in 9/11. They even told us all the way back then that Iraq itself was close to developing nuclear weapons. Of course, all of these lies were just that, shameless lies without an ounce of evidence behind them. With these constant lies played for 2 years, politicians tricked tens, hundreds of millions of Americans into supporting the disastrous invasion of Iraq. After it was all said and done, over 460,000 Iraqis were murdered, 4.4 million internally displaced, 2.3 million fled the country as refugees, and 22 years later, Iraqis still have to deal with violence, instability, and corruption. And all for what? After murdering hundreds of thousands, after ruining the lives of tens of millions, what victory did we, the American people, gain from all this? The answer is nothing. Absolutely nothing. All we got was a $3 trillion bill after our own taxes were used not to build roads, not to fix our healthcare system, not to improve our lives in any way, but to decimate a country who posed no threat to the American people. The only people who won from the Iraq War were the war profiteers, the weapons manufacturers, and military contractors, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, Blackwater, who will always salivate at every chance to make money off destroying another people's homeland. This week, our government is playing the same playbook they played 22 years ago. Try to pull the wool over people's eyes with brazen lies and zero evidence. They tell us Iran is close to developing nuclear weapons, when Trump's own intelligence openly admitted they're not. They tell us they've destroyed Iranian nuclear facilities, when no one has any way of knowing what the damage really was. And they tell us these strikes are just a one-off. We're not even in a war yet. This won't become another forever war. When we know Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, all these wars were supposed to last months, but they lasted decades. But unlike in Iraq, unlike in Libya, unlike in Afghanistan, there's something different today. Today, the American people are no longer accepting the lies of the U.S. war machine. The vast majority of Americans today oppose any military action in Iran. After decades of brazen lies and propaganda, the American people have woken up, and we're saying no to the U.S. war machine. And I need to know that you're willing to fight back. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and you say, stand up, fight back. What do we do when Trump lies? Stand up, fight back. What do we do when Trump, the U.S. and Israel tell us Iran is a nuclear threat? Stand up, fight back. What do we do when the U.S. wants to get us into war that'll cost trillions of dollars? Stand up, fight back. What do we do when the U.S. and Israel want to murder millions of innocent people in the Middle East? Stand up, fight back. What we must realize is that we must stand up, fight back, because all of these crises that we face, the U.S. attacking Iran, the U.S. funding a genocide of the Palestinians for decades, the Trump no longer having any ties with any countries and ramping up tariffs, and the deep affordability crisis that we face every day, year after year, getting worse. All of these crises have one common cause: the deep arrogance of U.S. imperialism. For over a century, corporate elites of this country have bullied the whole world through wars, through genocide, through regime change. For over a century, they have intervened in almost every country in the world just so that he can keep exploiting oil, rare earth metals, workers of this country, and workers of every other country. Anything they can get their hands on just to make a line go a little bit more up, just so they can get a little bit more profit. And for over a century, they have believed their domination over the U.S. military and vast global corporate empires is what gives them power to exploit whatever they want. But power does not come from being in charge of the U.S. military. Power does not come from being in charge of vast global corporate empires. And power does not come even from being the richest or most powerful man in the world. Power comes from the people. Power comes from the from the fact that we run this city, this state, this country, and the world. We are the teachers, the nurses, the waiters, the delivery drivers, the warehouse workers who run everything. Without us, the corporate elite, the political elite in this country and across the world have nothing. No business, no profits, no prestige, no power. The only power they have is that people follow their orders. But the power we have is that we are the people, and we can stop following their orders and stand up for ourselves. So the only way that we will get through this crisis, that we'll get through all of these crises, is by fighting this corporate elite and this US imperialism. So then I want to ask you some questions, and I need to know that you're willing and ready to fight. So when I ask you, you say yes. Are you ready to fight against imperialism? Yes. Are you ready to fight against war? Yes. Are you ready to fight for the working class? Yes. Are you ready to fight for Palestinians? Yes. Are you ready to fight for Lebanese? Yes. Are you ready to fight for Iranians? Yes. Are you ready to fight for Yemenis? Yes. Are you ready to fight for everyone across the world, even if it's someone you don't know? Yes. And the only way to fight is to win. So I ask, when we fight, you say when we win. When we fight, we win.